A very good evening to my lecturer. My name is Kishan Rao. I am from batch 21 and my ID is to DEM062002. Today I am going to present about definition of Chinese culture. Malaysia population is a combination of different ethnics. As we know, there are Chinese, Malays, Indians and others. Chinese is the second largest ethnic group in Malaysia after the Malays as 6.65 million occupy 23.4% of Malaysia's population. Malaysian Chinese is referring to the full or part of the people that exist Chinese blood who are born in our population to Malaysia. Most of them is the allied from immigrating, probably of Han Chinese and ancestry at between the mid-19th and early 20th century. Firstly, there are some history of Chinese immigration into Malaysia that can classify into three major phases. When the Chinese came to Malaysia, they brought their dance, music, and literature with them. However, due to Malaysia's multi-racial society, most ethnic groups in Malaysia, including the Chinese, have adopted or assimilated each other's culture. Today, the Malaysian Chinese do not only speak the Chinese language, eat Chinese food, wear Chinese clothes, and appreciate Chinese classic songs, but they also eat Malay, Indian, and Western food, wear other clothes, and enjoy the music of other communities. Nonetheless, the Malaysian Chinese still keep their many traditional celebrations which form a large part of Chinese cultural heritage and in Malaysia. These celebrations include the Lantern Festival, the Dragon Boat Festival, the Tom Festival, the Hungry Ghost Festival, and the Mooncake Festival. Chinese traditional music and dance are usually arranged and performed during festivals such as the Chinese New Year or when there is a funeral. One of their most popular dance is the Lion Dance, which is usually performed during the Chinese New Year celebrations. Literature such as the Eight Immortals, the Monkey God, and Nacha the Dragon Slayer are ancient children's stories which are popular in Malaysia in the Mickey Mouse in the United States. Thank you. That is from me.
Hi, my name is Prithipa Nandini Swaraja, student ID DEM05283. Today I would like to present about common Chinese application. Okay, the Chinese in Malaysia generally keeps a low profile. They generally do not go to great lengths to display their Chineseness, nor to make a great effort to express their Malaysian patriotism. Many Chinese have adopted English nicknames. In the early 20s, only 9% of Chinese students attended national school. Most went to the private schools oriented for the Chinese community. Chinese homes often have altars with Buddha statue, Chinese grave offering, cardboard microwave oven, television icons burned during holidays as offering to the dead. There are even fixed credit cards and passports which can be used by the dead in the other world. Chinese media includes 6 in the peninsula and 8 in the East Malaysia. Xinchu Daily is the top-selling Chinese paper in the country. It not only makes money, but it is the most powerful voice in the stable of Chinese paper. Even Education Minister Dato Sri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein cuts the paper because he needs Xinchu's cooperation to the air polices on Chinese schools. Malays in Malaysia have intermarried less with the Chinese than Thais in Thailand have. Babas and Nyonyas are the respective names and males and female born to the Chinese Malay unions. Old Baba and Nyonya families are descendants of Chinese traders that married into Malay families. The book The Straight Chinese by Malaysian psychologist Hu Joi is about subculture of Baba and Nyonya. Baba Malay, a function of Hokkien, and Malay is the spoken in Singapore, Malaysia. Hokkien, the southern Min dialect of Fujian, is the primary dialect of many overseas Chinese community in Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, and Philippines. Mandarin Chinese continues to be a primary language instructions at Chinese primary schools and private secondary schools. A Chinese language managed endure in Malaysia. That's all my part. Thank you.
Hi sir, I'm Tivaka Kanyapan from batch 21. My ID number is TEM04223. Now I'm going to present about the Chinese culture, absolutism and culture relativism. The first wave of Han people came in the 15th century during the Malaya Sultanate. Their tombs can be found in Bukit, China. Today, the descendants of this community are mostly from Fujian province, where they are called Baba, male, and Nyonya, female. They are from southern China, mainly from the province of Fujian, Guangdong, Guangxi, and Hainan. At the end of 19th century, the British encouraged the entry of Chinese immigrants into Malaya because the British needed a large labor force and to help produce large amounts of tin for the needs of the industrial revolution in Britain. Most traditional cultural identities within the community must be related the distinguishing surnames. Thank you.
Is Robin Michael and my ID is DEM062056 and my batch is 21. Today I am going to talk about Malaysia Chinese culture, common issue or ethical problem. Even though dating a change into the maybe no means a part of their cultural tradition, it miles turning into the common exercise to the various Chinese network in Malaysia. The young human beings are inspired through the practice they see on the television, in movies, and with inside the magazine in novels they read. A Chinese female start courting while she was 17 or 18 years vintage and receive a marriage in minimum the age of 24. At the same time, as a boy could be same years old, a married guy, female, or routinely taken into consideration. Adults and are predicted to behave accordingly. Since Malaysia does no longer perform on a welfare system, the kids of aged mother and father are predicted to attend them till they pass away. That the various Chinese is marked to the colorful and conventional ceremony. Funerals are from the time to held domestic in massive open spaces or in a funeral parlors the frame of deceases in individual ceremonially washed normally took the eldest son earlier than being wearing a strange quantity for feet of garb and laden of coffin. This is observed though problematic ritual observation. It is crucial that coffin is located in an outstanding role within inside the house surrounded the throughout the deceased favorite position and refreshment. And the coffins is no means left unattended during this length. Relatives are predicted to donate cash for event in a strange denomination ringgit Malaysia 10, ringgit Malaysia 30 or ringgit Malaysia 50, and by no means in multiples ringgit Malaysia 20 on the morning of the funeral. Mourner come collectively for on remaining gatherings. Sometimes still dances might be also additionally carried out earlier than coffin is taken to the graveyard. Thank you.
Hi sir, good evening. I'm Danusha Selvakumar and my ID number is DEM05200045. So today I'm going to present my part, which is Malaysian Chinese culture, the relationship relationship between government regulation and practice and ethical conduct of business, person, gender, and culture difference. So the ethics Chinese Malaysian have been traditionally dominant in the business sector of the Malaysian economy with large local Chinese enterprises involved in natural resources and food ingredients industries and such as sugar and palm oil. Almost every biscuit manufacturer in the country is dominated by ethnic Chinese Malaysians. And then it goes by person. The ethnic subgroups of Chinese people, Malaysian, include the Hokkien, Cantonese, Hakka, Teochew, Hainan, Fuzhou, and Guangxi. So different Chinese dialects are spoken in Malaysian towns and cities. Next going to gender. In Malaysia, Chinese households is displayed at all times. A woman's traditional role usually involves the domestic duties of a household and caring for the children. The continuing belief that a woman's role is primarily as a mother and wife means that power imbalances largely persist. The last but not least, cultural difference. Several studies have demonstrated that the Malays and Chinese in Malaysia shows dissimilarities in their patterns of behavior when observed and studied using Hochschild culture demonstrations. For instance, religiously, the Malays are mostly Muslims, whereas most Chinese follow Confucianism, Zionism, Buddhism, and Christianity. Thank you, sir.
My name is Priyanka. My ID number is DEM05200069. Today I'm talking about conclusion about Chinese Malaysia culture. The Chinese government hopes that the international community will be allowed the principle of one China now and always that universal government will necessarily fulfill all the principles concerning the Taiwan issues in the three Sino-US joint commission and the Solomon promised to uphold the one China principle. Thank you.